The topic of today, technology. Has this advancement, this rapid advancement in the past few decades, has made us happier? Has it made our society flourish? Or has it created an unhealthy dependency on the use of these devices?
Okay, so my posture now it's about being more dependent, and the posture of my friend it's about happier or being happier with technology. So continue, please.
My name is Bernardo, and I believe that technology has made our society flourish. The core single yearning that we all humans have, that constant, restless pursuit of happiness, is what has made us flourish. And it brought us this great era of, the greatest era in history, where there's the least amount of discomfort and there's the greatest amount of happiness in today's era. And this has all been brought and has been engineered by innovation. So I believe that technology has brought us here today, and it will bring us to greater heights.
So now playing as my posture of saying that technology make us more dependent, I will say just look at yourselves. How many of you have a computer right now? How many of you have or are using your phone, not even paying attention to us, to what we are saying? So just imagine that. So I will say phones, computers, takes some abilities, and it not only takes abilities from us as a human being, it also creates us more problems, more healthy problems about our cognition, about our senses, about even our emotional health, and all that kind of stuff. So just to look at yourselves, to look at you, I'll say it make us more dependent. As social media, for example, social media just make us more insecure because we are trying to find validation from other people. So just by watching the computers, we can see that computers are like, okay, I have everything on my computer, so I don't have the need to study or learn or just stay on my mind that information. So it's on my computer. I don't care. I don't mind about that, about learning it because it's on my computer. So I would say it makes us way more dependent in every way, and I say that each way of technology makes us more dependent. It doesn't matter which way, but every way.
There were a lot of points on that argument, but to start things off, you mentioned that, they were distracted by the use of that technology. But can we really blame their devices on what the person is doing? I mean, can we really blame a kitchen knife for someone who decided to stab a person, even though its main purpose was for cooking? Is it really the device's fault?
Oh.
Next thing you mentioned, you also told us that there was a kind of dependency, but there was no longer the need to think for ourselves. But, let's think about it. Do we mourn of the fact that we no longer have to use sticks and stones in order to light a fire?
Ooh.
Nobody has ever thought about that. Nobody wishes we could go back to the old times of where we had to spend 20 minutes on making a fire pit and lighting it up in order for us to cook. But now we can just, in 1 second, light a fire, put a pan of it, and instead of wasting those 20 seconds just for lighting that fire, we can use it to think about what recipe we want to make. We can think about what ingredients we will use. So what I think about that when you mentioned is that technology allows us to forget about that more primitive, if I could say it, or well, low order thinking in order for us to focus on a higher order thinking. No mathematician longer does calculus by hand, even though they are mathematics. They should love to do math. Nobody, well, now we have calculators, and they don't even use calculators anymore. There's programs for that. The reason is because mathematics can focus those thoughts that they would spend on these, well, on these basic equations in order to use it on a higher thinking. What can you say about that?
Oh.
That I got clearly your point of view about that, but now put it nowadays. Okay, automatization. You're talking about automatizing like everything. Like we have kitchens, we have everything that is automatized nowadays. But now let's see a little bit more far from today, because okay, now we have a lot of machines that do the work that men used to do, by hand. So now imagine how many workers we could have, how many works more, how many people can have more works and more opportunity to work instead of putting a machine there. Like imagine how many employees we lost by using machines. Imagine how many employees we are going to lose now because of cars that are automatic, that they drive by themselves. How many employees we are going to lose there? We are losing the ability of something as human beings. We are losing the ability of driving or being manual, as you wanted to see it. But as automatizing everything, we are losing ourselves as human beings. Everything. We're losing jobs, we're gaining money, but at what point? Like, what's the matter of gaining money if we're losing persons? Like, as you were saying about, sorry, I got lost.
The mathematics.
Mathematics, yeah, I completely agree with that. But the sadly things about nowadays is that everyone has the opportunity to use those tools. So the thing is that humans and kids nowadays has the opportunity to use these tools. So instead of us being the masters of these tools, we are becoming the tools of the master of technology. So I'll say that's something really sad, because instead of us being the masters and saying what to do to the tool is literally making us everything. So we're being dependent. So yes, that kind of people that are really smart and know how to use the tool, they might be really big and they can have more opportunities. But nowadays, those tools and those technologies are used by people that shouldn't be using it. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, well, yeah, it is true that a lot of jobs have been lost because of the development of technology. But it is also true that a lot more jobs, such as myself, have been created. I'm a computer science student, so on that topic, I believe that, well, yes, it has made us do some of our jobs, but in reality, do we really? We go back to a bit more back to other times. There were people who their main job was to hunt. Would you say that those jobs are missed? Well, no. We now have farms. We now have cattle.
Acábalo.
So yeah. Well, you mentioned that technology is driving us around, but I don't think that's a technology problem. We should be the one controlling technology. We should be the one who lead technology to make us happier. So as long as we stand on that wheel, well, then I don't see any problem with technology, and I don't see benefits.
Okay, but you're saying this as an imaginarity, as something that you can imagine, but we're talking about facts, about what it's used and how it's used nowadays. We're not talking about something that it might be, it could be, no, we're talking about nowadays, in fact, how we're using technology. So we're using it this way, and this is the way you're using it also. You imagine how many of you are using AI, how many of you are dependent about saying like, I have to do an essay, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to do the essay, instead of thinking or just might get something wrong, but just think about doing that by yourself. Like nobody does that nowadays because they're lazy and they are cutting our abilities to do that by yourselves because of AI, and it's also a technology. So what I'm trying to say is that put yourself nowadays that nobody does that. Nobody works with technology in a responsible way. Nobody of us. Just an expert, just something like that.
Oh, thank you.